Peoples, what's going on? This is Big Said back again, a year older. Well, actually, a week older because my birthday was last week. But anyway, um, the latest edition of My Friends Are Better Than Yours. And for the new people or people who's checking out for the first time, the purpose of this forum is that I have a lot of friends who do a lot of dope things. And although some of them are celebrities, I get sick of talking to celebrities to promote whatever. So this phase of my life, I want to promote my friends or people I call my friends that I just say for the sake of the program, like the one we have today. But anyway, as y'all know, sometimes I do an intro, sometimes I don't. This time I'm not going to because um, based on what's written, we're going to discuss anyway. So I don't want it to be like, I'm just going to get into it and just introduce my good friend. His name is Christopher Williams. I see he says Chris Williams because I know he probably gets it all the time because there's somebody else
Yeah.
we might know had the same name. What's the name again? No,
Don't make me dream. Yeah, all of that.
but Christopher Williams. No, excuse me, Christopher C. Williams, aka
Yes.
Chris Williams, Heart, Body, and Soul. I'm going to allow him to tell us what is heart, body, and soul, what he does, and then we'll get into it because, as y'all know me, wherever it takes me, that's where we're going. So, um, welcome, Chris.
Man, said thank you for having me, brother. I mean, we go way back like 8 tracks in a Cadillac, so it's good to
Yep.
be here. It's good to be here. I'm seeing a little delay on my end. Are we good? You're hearing me clear? No issues.
I'm hearing you, but it goes. Yeah, it was delayed and
Yeah,
it's coming back.
my
So
camera seems to be. I don't know how we looking now. Sounding good.
you got to pay your Wi-Fi bill, but it looks fine now. So,
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is high. I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
well, you
yeah,
got to
man.
get the right music.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This is dope what you're doing. I mean,
Thanks.
you've been, bro. The industry cosign has been it's been over 20 years, right?
21 years as of 2 weeks ago.
There you go. Yeah, I called it. I knew it was 20 plus something. So that's great. What happened? My
Yep.
camera. Uh-oh. What's going on?
Don't worry about it. Just continue talking as long as we hear you because nobody wants to look at you anyway. I think it does that. Oh, he's not there. Oh, there you go. It may be
Yeah.
your Wi-Fi connection because I've learned that I use my Ethernet whenever I do this, and maybe I should suggest that to people, but
Yeah.
no one really uses Ethernet anymore. But
No, bro. You said
yeah,
Ethernet. I'm like, I don't even have. First of all, this is nowhere
yeah,
close to my box, so I'm actually gonna have to get. It's something that I got to do to anyway. Get a booster, and then have that set up
yeah.
because I do enough of these where I should have that set up.
Well, the funny
Um,
thing is that what I've noticed is that sometimes it just happens
yeah, yeah,
because I'd be like my router is like right in front of me, and it'll be like so
yeah. I was like, wait, did you go out a while?
no, no, that's me doing it.
Man,
but
listen.
but if you see that it's lagging, whatever, just keep on talking because as long as we can hear you, that's more important to me because you look the same regardless of whether we see you smile or not. So yeah, I think you're frozen now, but
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, you can if you can hear me. Can you
yeah,
hear
no, I
me?
can hear you definitely.
Okay,
I did the whole
perfect.
show. I did the whole show frozen, so it's
Oh, you did
cool.
the whole show first?
I did the whole show frozen. I didn't realize this after the fact because it wasn't frozen on my end. But then it was Keith Perrin from Fubu, and he was like, "Yeah, you wasn't moving the whole time." I'm like, "Well, why didn't you say
We
anything?"
say something.
Right? but but anyway, like I said, but sometimes it does come in and out. So let's just let people know who you are, what you do,
For
and
sure.
why I want to talk to you.
For
Please
sure.
get back
So,
here.
folks, thanks for listen. Thanks again for joining us here on the Industry Cosign with my man Big Said. So Christopher Williams, I am the founder and CEO of Heart, Body, and Soul, which is a Brooklyn-based nonprofit. It's so funny, said you said tell them what I do. It's like I don't really do anything anymore, right? I
I've
just
known about you for years, so it's not.
yeah. I'm like Tommy from Martin, you ain't got no job. No, but this has become something that I just live, right? So Heart, Body, and Soul is a Brooklyn-based nonprofit. We started officially back in 2020, late 2021, early 22. The work that we do is focused on Black men's health. We really focus on making sure that brothers have all the tools they need to make better decisions concerning their health. We work with members of the community to make sure, especially underserved communities, make sure they have access to quality health care, teach them how to advocate for themselves, and have real conversations, real honest and open conversations about various aspects of mental and physical health, the impacts it's having on us, everything from heart disease to diabetes to prostate cancer, colon cancer, high blood pressure, you name it. We're talking about it, and we're encouraging folks to do what's necessary to prioritize their health. I started this said to focus on Black men because of the disparities that exist. Unfortunately, the numbers when it comes to Black men and deaths or chronic illness is high compared to others, white, Asian, Latino, and so forth. Well, even Latino is also a high, but unfortunately, Black men is it's the highest in terms of the disparities that exist, in terms of heart disease being still the number one killer, one of the leading killers among Black men. And heart disease, as you know, is something that we don't have to die from, right? It's 90% of heart disease is reversible, unless you're born with a genetic defect or some kind of situation that leads you to have to get a heart transplant, something of the sort. But for the most part, a lot of what we go through, these are reversible ailments, reversible illnesses. So we really just want to focus on making sure people have better access, that we're having these conversations, that we're not living in this space of, we're men. We don't talk. We're like, nah, we tough, we hard, we gotta push through the pain. We can't cry. Especially Black men. We want to be Superman. And it's just, there's no such thing as Superman. There's no such thing as Superwoman either. So we need to stop saying, things like, oh, you're super strong, or nah, listen, it's okay to have a moment. It's okay to stop and just not want to be that person, not want to be the person that's carrying the world on their shoulders. So man.
And for people that see it, I'm going side to side. I have notes around me, so don't mind me. Pay attention to Chris, because even though I'm important, let's don't pay attention. But anyway, coincidentally, I do have a doctor's appointment. I took blood tests yesterday.
Okay, good.
I'm good. And it's funny because I haven't gotten my colonoscopy or tested for prostate cancer. So I'm definitely going to speak to my doctor when I go to her next week, because you might be maybe. And it's funny because the people that I have been talking to lately, we've all been talking about health, specifically Black men's health. And I'm like, okay, well, let me make my appointments, because I can't be over here agreeing and be like, yes, you're right, and haven't seen a doctor in 12 years. That's not the case, but I'm just saying, because it's usually like that. Or we all get up in arms when somebody dies or a celebrity passes away. Then all of a sudden, he was too young and we have to look better.
Yeah.
We have to be better. And then a week later, we're still eating pork chop sandwiches and, a gallon of whatever.
Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With a ton of sugar in it. But I'm glad you did mention that, because like I said, I do have a doctor's appointment. Now, I know you have, outside of the advocacy aspect of what you're doing and what you've been doing, there was a reason, well, I should say not a reason, but a primary reason for you to become more of an advocate. What was that?
So I am a multiple heart attack survivor, and I am a stage 3 appendiceal cancer survivor. So appendiceal cancer is basically cancer of the appendix. I had stage 3 cancer of the appendix, so I had to have my appendix removed. I had a tumor sitting on my appendix. I had to have that removed. I had to have what's called a right hemicolectomy, which is a whole colon resectioning. So I had a little bit less than 8 inches, about 7 to 8 inches really of my colon removed. And my colon was then, realigned. So everything could work well. But yeah, man, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I think if I were, we don't have all day, but I
Yeah.
will say this in a nutshell, that my first heart attack was in 2015 at the age of 42. I'm now 52 today. So 10 years
Happy
ago, I
birthday.
had. Thank
Oh,
you.
you
Well,
didn't mean today. Okay.
not today. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah.
March 6th. Yeah, March 6th was my 52nd birthday. But yeah, I'm 52 now. So yeah, so you funny. So yeah, so celebrating, that it's great. I'm glad that I made it through all these challenges, right? Because that first heart attack threw me for a loop, because I was in great shape. I was working out every day, 6 days a week. I had a really great routine, eating healthy, but heart attacks are something. It's a buildup, right? In my case, there was a buildup of plaque in my coronary arteries, and that plaque led to me having about a 98% blockage in one of my coronary arteries. So 2% away from a massive heart attack. So I was fortunate, that it wasn't something that was fatal. And I was fortunate that I listened to my body and picked up the phone, called my doctor right away. And my doctor said, come in. I actually went to my doctor's office before going to the hospital, because I wasn't certain at the time, when I was feeling the pains, it was a heart attack. I was having these chest pains. It was severe. It felt like initially it felt like indigestion, and then it worsened. And I started to feel like a sharp pain just increasing. And then after calling the doctor and making my way to the doctor's office, as I'm walking, I started to feel the tingling sensation on my left arm. So that let me know, that this is a heart attack. So by the time I got to his office, he was calling 911 for the ambulance to get there. I actually got treated at Lenox Hill Hospital, which was very close to his office. And they saved my life. I had to get a stent. That was the first heart attack. And unfortunately, I've had 3 since then. Yeah, 3 additional heart attacks since then.
You figure if it didn't go right the first time, let's try.
Yeah, why not? Let's try again. And so to folks who are like, but why did that happen? So what it turns out, unfortunately, what I realized is, and this is something that I teach, right? All doctors are not the same, right? So you really need to make sure you prioritize dating your doctors, getting to know who they are. When I say dating, don't actually go on a date with the doctor, but I mean,
Unless he's really pretty.
Yeah, but I mean, getting to know them and asking the right questions, going through a courtship phase, because the reality of it is that, doctors, as much as they may be educated, there's things they're going to miss. They're human beings like everybody else. So you want to find a doctor that's going to be very proactive in terms of your care, and who's really focused on asking all the right questions to get to a very a good understanding of why this is happening. In my case, the heart attacks it wasn't just a buildup of plaque. There was something else going on in my body that was leading to this buildup. So even though I was eating right and I was exercising, and my cholesterol for the most part was around 125, 130, which was my overall cholesterol, which is good. It was my bad cholesterol, even though my bad cholesterol was around 79, it needed to be below 50. And for a normal person, 79 is fine. For me, because I have what's called high lipoprotein A numbers, that led to a situation where plaque just kept building up a lot faster. And me not having that information earlier on is what led to these other heart attacks. So now that I'm with a cardiologist who is educated on what this is and how best to treat it, I'm on new medication. We're looking at different things. I just switched over to now incorporating intermittent fasting. So now my lifestyle is intermittent fasting. So yeah, I see you lit up for that. You do that as well?
It's so funny because I used to do it before. I was doing things correctly, but I was just eating wrong. Like I was still eating the wrong things because, when sometimes when people preach intermittent fasting, it's like you don't eat between this window and you lose weight. I thought that, but that wasn't the case because 10,000 calories is still 10,000 calories. You know?
Exactly.
And coincidentally, I just started again Sunday
Wow.
because I've been to the gym lately, and I said, you know what? Let me do it right this time because it worked in one way where I was doing it for a couple of months where I was feeling different because I know it burns more fat during the fasting hours. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt, but if I think my body was fighting with it because, like, okay, we got it. And then I say, okay, let me just give you more to work with. And it's like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Give up. So I wasn't losing weight, but I was looking like I was losing weight.
Yeah.
This time around, like I just gave up, and I'm like, just like with anything in life, you do something that doesn't work, you just leave it alone. But since I've been back to the gym recently, I'm like, you know what? Let me stick it out this time because I really need to get the fasting part correct, where my body can, generate whatever it needs to regenerate, and then I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even take it from you, but that's the reason why I just start literally like on Sunday.
No,
I
that's
really
good, man.
started.
That's good. I my doctor, both my primary care doctor and my cardiologist thought this would be a good journey for me to go on. So intermittent fasting is now part of my lifestyle. So I started the last heart attack I had was December 9th of 2024. So that was my fourth. Yeah.
Oh
This
wait,
this
I mean, I'm not smiling, like laughing at
right.
you.
Right.
I'm amazed because, of course, we've talked, like, since last year, not
Right.
knowing that you just recently had one. That's like,
Yeah. December
are you,
9th
are
of
you going for a
2024.
record? I mean, come on, like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Listen. So December 9th, 2024 is my last heart attack. They discovered when they went in that they did a cardiac catheterization. So what that is, it's exactly like it sounds. You go into the cath lab, they put a catheter in, your coronary artery. You usually either go in through your wrist or go in through your groin. Now the wrist I prefer the wrist than the groin because when they remove that catheter from the groin, the pain is severe. It's not pleasant. It's not pretty. So they go in through the wrist, and there's a camera. You're able to see everything on a screen because you're awake during this whole process. You're anesthetized locally, so usually they anesthetize you locally so they can go in, and you need to stay awake because you need to be able to provide information. If they're doing something right, wrong, you need to be able to say something. So it's very important that you're awake throughout the process. Go ahead, Zed. You're gonna say so.
No, I'm just thinking about, like, just things being inserted in me that I don't want inserted in me.
Listen, but see, the good thing is that you're able to feel when a change happens. So, for example, I was on the table. Normally, the procedure can take 45 minutes to an hour. In my case, this last time, December 9th, December 10th is when they did it. It took about close to 3 hours because what was going on in this case was I had what's called restenosis. So basically the stent that was there basically started to build up around it and create more of a blockage. And then they realized that stent wasn't positioned correctly. So the doctor now needed to the cardiologist, who's an interventional cardiologist, brother by the name of Dr. Matthew Jones, based right here in Brooklyn, did, shameless plug for him because he's the best cardiologist I've had thus far. So I want to shout him out. But
I'm hoping I never meet him, but go ahead.
no. So, but he basically went in and did what he had to do to get everything to work, right? Shifting it. They had to do another stent, and then from there I had to go back and do two other blockages. There were a total of three. So December 9th, December 10th was one procedure. I went back January 9th for another procedure and January 30th for another procedure. And now I'm done. Yeah.
I'm not saying this to be funny, but to be funny. But after these things happen, do you feel like a new person? Like, is it rejuvenation or sluggish or like
So so I'll tell you this.
you're
Before,
experienced in this? Now, let me
yeah,
tell
you,
go ahead.
like my one of my boys calls me Iron Man. I'm like, nah, bro.
Yeah,
That's
apparently.
so before
Look at the shirt. Let
this,
me see the.
yeah, I got the thing in my chest. So before it happened, so obviously what's happening when you're having a heart attack, right? You're, the fatigue. People will feel fatigue, and they will find themselves feeling winded and so forth, because obviously there's a blockage, and so the blood flow is not the same. There's this blockage that's creating this resistance in your body. So when that blockage is cleared, you start to feel better. You do start to feel better. It does. You are able to do more, but it's a gradual thing. In my case, it took a few weeks for me to start walking again, to get back to a place where I could feel more comfortable, and my stamina was at a better level. So right now I'm back to the point where I can walk my 5, 6, 7, 8 miles without a problem, because I walk a lot and I love walking. So prior to these blockages being repaired, I couldn't walk more than maybe a few blocks without being out of breath, without feeling like, oh man, I'm done. I'm wiped out. Like physically, I was wiped out after walking like maybe 3, 4 blocks. So it's really important, especially if this is something you're feeling repeatedly, like if you're always tired, and if you haven't been to a cardiologist, as man or woman, this goes for everybody. If you're having these problems where you're just chronic fatigue, you're finding yourself just always tired, short of breath when you're walking, especially if you're just doing short walks, experiencing chest pains. And sometimes for women, it shows up differently. I've heard women complain of back pain. I've heard it be stomach pain. There's so many different ways this can present itself. Talk to your doctor. Like, I encourage people to pick up the phone, talk to your primary care doctor. If your primary care doctor is not doing what you want, and you have the insurance that allows you to seek a cardiologist without a referral, go see a cardiologist. If you need a referral, dump your doctor and go see another one. Get rid of that. I'm serious, because if you're having problems and your primary care doctor is not listening to you, then go see somebody else. Stop holding on to, oh, well, he said it's nothing. And the reason I say that is I had a friend who went through a similar situation where the doctor pretty much dismissed what he was saying. He and I had a conversation, and it led him to push back to that doctor. And it turns out he had to have bypass surgery. So had he not pushed back and insisted to get a stress test, where would he be today? So it's really important that we continue to listen to our bodies and advocate for ourselves, man.
Definitely. Yeah. Now, it's strange, because the doctors nowadays, they all have the same like training. Well, not the same training, but I'm saying they go to the schooling and things of that nature. And the first time I brought up intermittent fasting to a doctor I was seeing at the time, it was like, no, that's not good. And I've had other people that said that other doctors give the same reaction. Or there was one time where, this was when I was living in Harlem, in Lenox Terrace. I went to the doctor. Now, my money wasn't right? So I was skimping on my medication. I didn't have, because I have high blood pressure, so I didn't have medicine for like a month. But I said, let me eat better. So I cut down on certain things, started eating more fruits and vegetables. Got to, did my blood test, came back, and all my numbers were down. I told my doctor, I'm like, well, I think, I'm doing better because this, that, and the other. And it's like, and she said, well, let me prescribe you because this, that, and the other. And I'm like, my numbers have gone, like, I was seeing her for like 5, 6 months. I'm like, my number has never gone down. The only time my number went down was when I took, when I said, I ain't got $9,000 to buy those 4 pills. Let me just eat some more fruits and vegetables. I come back, have better numbers, and you're telling me you're still going to prescribe me. So I stopped seeing her from that minute on. But the reason why I brought all that up is because the fact that you said your doctors basically okayed it is crazy, because even an endocrinologist I'm going to see next week, I had the discussion with her when I was doing it last, but she's an excellent endocrinologist. So I'm sticking with her because she's excellent, but I'm still going to do it. But she tried to advise me against it. And I'm saying to myself, like with YouTube and all this information out, now I know that we shouldn't be doing our own things when it comes to certain things, but we do have the means to get research on certain things. And I'm just shocked that you're telling me that your doctors are like, yeah, do it.
Yeah. So it goes back to what I said about about dating your doctors, getting to know people that are aligned with how you live, because there's nothing wrong. And you talked about researching. I think it's really important to research. You want to make sure, though, that wherever you get your information, you validate that source.
Yeah.
Make sure they are a legitimate source. They know what they're talking about. In other words, sometimes there's a lot of crap that's going around on TikTok and Instagram that I don't advise people just take up and go, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Check the individual, make sure they are legitimate, make sure, whatever references, whatever other sources you can point to validate what they're saying, do that first before trying these things. But for me, I've always been, and I grew up in a family that was always very health conscious, right? So eating right, fasting was something I was accustomed to growing up as a child. Intermittent fasting is something I always knew worked. And I would have to say that doctors, and any doctor will tell you this, they don't spend a lot of time in medical school studying nutrition. So when it comes to nutrition, that's like maybe 1%, if that, of the work that they do, right? So you can't really rely on a doctor for that level of knowledge. You should see a nutritionist. And if you talk to a nutritionist, or especially a really good nutritionist, they'll tell you that, yes, intermittent fasting works. But any doctor worth his salt who's doing their research, who understands what intermittent fasting can do for your body, will tell you it's a good way to go, especially if you are pre-diabetic. In my case, I'm pre-diabetic. Recently, my numbers went up so high that they said I had diabetes, because it was like a 6.7. Now I'm back to a pre-diabetic level, and I'm sure the next time I test, it'll be below that, because intermittent fasting reverses all of that. Of course, assuming intermittent fasting, you're eating properly. So It can't be intermittent fasting and 12, let's just say you do an 18 hours of fast, and when you break your fast, you go into McDonald's or you go into Chick-fil-A or any one of those places, because that's not eating properly. That's not healthy.
Every hour after that until
yeah, exactly. So my diet consists of, I'm eating things like steel cut oats. I love blueberries. So I throw all those things in. I don't do cold cuts. Like, cold cuts are death. So I don't do any cold cuts. I don't consume a lot of sugar. So as far as like, your juices, sodas, things like that, I don't do any of that stuff. So what I'm doing, it's usually plants I'm consuming, your fish. If I do chicken, I'm doing, lean stuff. I'll have like, chicken breast once in a blue moon, but mostly fish. I enjoy fish, and mostly plants. And so your greens, I'm getting a lot of greens in. And if I'm going to do plantains, if I do decide to do fried plantains, for example, I'm Jamaican, so we love our plantains. But if I do that, then I make sure I'm frying it in olive oil, and it's not like heavily, it's not oily. But typically, I don't even fry. I prefer to boil it. You're better off boiling than frying anything, to be honest. Boiling, bacon, things of that nature. So it's just, finding somebody who can really hip you to the right way to eat and working that way. The doctor, you can rely on them for certain other things, but yeah, it's medication nation out here, man. So they rather keep you on the drugs than anything else, unfortunately.
I'm going to stay away from you for a second, because I want to speak about what Heart, Body, and Soul does when it comes to advocacy, as well as getting people like me to, fall in line, so to speak, for health purposes. You do have the Black
Health
Man's
festival.
Health Festival.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
let's talk about that, because I missed the last one, and everyone who knows me knows that anything above 80 degrees, I'll never leave my house. So I think that's the reason why I didn't. Oh, no.
No, because the weather was beautiful that day.
No. I had several things to do. Yeah, that's what it was.
Right.
It was a scheduling thing. Yeah, I just remember scheduling.
Yeah,
thing.
well, this year you can. We
So,
in Brooklyn. We got 3 days this year, so you can't miss us this year.
I'll come all three.
Yeah. There you go.
Healthy.
Healthy. Yeah, heart, body, and soul. Like I said, we really focus on it. So while we're in the Brooklyn community, a lot of what we do is New York focused for now, and then we'll expand into other cities. So the goal of our organization and the work we do is for us to be national, right? So right now, focusing on New York and focusing in right now in Brooklyn, we have various programs. The Black Man's Health Festival is one of them, where we have a day-long event, or in this case, 3 days long, that is bringing hospitals like Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, Weill Cornell Medicine, and all these other hospitals into our communities, offering free screenings for men. So those screenings include prostate cancer screenings, something which can be quite costly if you don't have insurance. If you're underinsured, uninsured, you can get these screenings done for free. And a prostate cancer screening nowadays is not a digital rectal exam. You have doctors who will do that. And by digital rectal exam, I mean, getting those fingers up in the butt to feel the prostate, to feel what's going on. For those of you men who don't know, the prostate is like about the size of a walnut, right? So it's something that any doctor worth their salt who understands how to diagnose this, typically a urologist, will be able to go in and feel for it to determine whether or not it's enlarged or there's an issue. But with the advancement of medicine, now they do what's called a prostate specific antigen, or PSA test, which is something that's minimally invasive using blood tests. So they take blood and they then check it, and based on the score or the numbers that come up in that PSA, they can determine whether or not you are at risk for prostate cancer, or maybe they need to do a little bit more deep dive to diagnose you. So there's a lot less reasons for us to be hesitant about these tests now, because a lot of times, especially when it comes to the PSA and prostate cancer, it should be noted as something that's on the rise and continues to be on the rise in our communities, because men are just not willing to go get a prostate exam because they're like, oh, I don't want anybody putting their finger up my butt. I don't want anybody touching me there, or whatever. It's not that.
You say someone they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's serious. There's all these phobias around this thing. And listen, I get it. We grow up with these things and we hear these stories, but it's time to, we're at a place in our life and at a time in our life where we got to get rid of those mindsets, that way of thinking, because we need to preserve our life. We have families, we have children, we have wives, whatever your relationship is. The most important thing is, if you want to live and contribute and do good, then you need to prioritize your health. So if it is that you got to get a finger up the butt to figure it out, then take it, as long as it's from a professional, a trained professional, a doctor. Let's just say this, a doctor, not any professional.
Don't let somebody on the subway do it.
No, yeah, exactly. Don't let a plumber do it. Make sure that not that type of professional. Make sure it's a medical doctor, a urologist.
I had somebody say to me years ago that they're scared to get it because they figure if they get it, they might like it, and next thing you know, they're gay. And I'm like, that's just gay of you to say.
No, but see, these are the things that we have to stop, right? Because come on, I mean, realistically, like, it's your body, and how else are you going to find out what's going on? So I really need for folks to, stop thinking about things that are really just nonsense. It is, and I understand the fear, because for a long time all these things are built up. And so now you start to believe that this is something you should be afraid of, but no, you don't have to. The things that we need to be concerned about are, what if something is going on in my body and I've never been to the doctor? You won't know, you won't find out. And then suddenly you're stuck in the hospital, you're sick, and they tell you you have 3 months to live. What then? So find out, get the prostate exam done, get the colonoscopy done. And be better off for it. The information is there to help you, not hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, unless they like being hurt. Let me stop.
Yo, man.
When is the next Men's Health Festival?
So the Black Men's Health Festival is scheduled for June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Brooklyn. So you can go to our website, which is iamhbs.org. So that's Igloo, Apple, Mary, Harry, Boy, Sam, iamhbs.org. And there I'm sorry, I got to spell it out.
Why Igloo? That's what I'm laughing at.
Because it's I don't know. I could say intelligent. I could say ice cream.
Igloo.
I like igloo. I like igloo. I like
That's what
igloo.
got me. I was like,
I like igloo. I've always liked that word. Always. I even like the look of an igloo. I think it's the coolest thing ever. So that's my thing, man. I've always wanted to actually go into an igloo and see what that experience is like, and see if I could sleep in one. I'm crazy. I know I'm special, but igloo.
I'm like, I didn't hear anything but igloo.
Igloo. No, but yeah. So June 6th, we're doing what's called a sweat fet, and the whole idea behind the sweat fet, we want to get the blood going. We want to release some stress. We want people to have a good time, laugh, have fun, dance, and really sweat out. Because a lot of times, even dancing is something that we've always known is healthy. We've always known that. We always know how much it makes you feel good. It's a euphoric feeling. So the sweat fet is designed to burn the calories, make you feel good in an atmosphere where there's no alcohol. So it's going to be a dry party, and it's going to be a good time. That's going to be at Crown Hill Theater, June 6th. Come on, Sed, you can do it.
Can I drink before I go? Nah.
Yeah, you could drink before. and then June 7th and 8th, we're going to be at Weeksville Heritage Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everything is free.
Everything is free. So the sweat fet is not free. The sweat fet, we encourage people. The sweat fet is also a fundraiser for the nonprofit, because all the work that we do, we provide all the services free to the men. So at the festival, for example, men are going to be able to come and get massages for free, Reiki done for free. There'll be barbers there to do like shape ups for free. You can get, if you have locks.
Shape ups? No.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of, it'll be. So I say. Yeah. I say that to say, no. I say that to say, I don't want people coming there thinking they're gonna get a high top fade and all that stuff. Yeah. No. They'll do cuts, but just it ain't gonna be something crazy. And then also, if you have your locks, like I said, you can come and get your locks retwisted. There'll be a lady there doing dry manicures for the men and with a hand massage. So all this stuff, we want to pour back. We want men to come out of that feeling celebrated, supported, uplifted, feeling like somebody's paying attention. Somebody sees them, and that's the whole thing, is to get us in a place of being seen and get us to get back in touch with ourselves. So we also have things like a healing circle where there'll be other brothers getting together, talking about things that you may want to address, like as far as mental health is concerned, maybe challenges you're facing. You'll be able to talk about your problems among other men, and men who are licensed professionals can share information on how best to solve some of those issues. And then we'll have panel discussions and health professionals there for you to do all these other screenings. The entire day, the entire 2 days of the festival is free. So June 7th and June 8th at Weeksville Heritage Center, everything there is free. Of course, there'll be vendors there who will sell other things. So if you want to get food and things like that, healthy food, there'll be folks there selling that stuff. But all the other services that I mentioned, massage, Reiki, chiropractic care, all that will be offered for free.
Now, since we just left my birthday month, our birthday month,
yes,
it's now April. What's going on in April?
So April is Minority Health Awareness Month. I'm actually going to be speaking at a bunch of different places. I have a few events popping up. So if people follow get on our website, register, and also if you follow us on Instagram, which is I Am Heart, Body, Soul, you'll get a sense of all the different things going on. But what we plan to do in April is really just get the word out about all the events we have coming up, which is the festival in June, and then our prostate cancer awareness event in September, which is called Me and My Prostate. So just stay tuned in April for all the different things we'll be updating you on. I'm going to be popping up and speaking in different places. Why you laugh, Sed? Tell me.
I'm so stupid. When you said Me and My Prostate, I'm thinking about the Biz song.
Oh, yeah.
With him in the little puppet.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
I can't have serious conversations with a camera on me because
it's all good.
I think of things that have nothing to do. I'm thinking of the Biz video with him in a little. Was it Matt?
Now it's in my head. My head.
I'm sorry, people. You know how I get sometimes. My apologies.
Nah, it's all good, man. So yeah, so so throughout the course of the year, we have a series of events coming up. So April, like I said, is Minority Health Awareness Month. So we're going to be touching on. We'll have a couple IG lives where we'll talk about the different things that people need to pay attention to concerning their health. In the month of May. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we have a few health talks that we're going to be doing in May as well, and then everything, of course, leads up to June, where that's a big event, right? Yeah, go ahead.
That was one of my questions I was going to ask, the mental health aspect, because the good thing I like is that Black people are actually starting to take care or talk about mental health, because that's always been taboo in our community. And I interviewed Charmaine the God, and like we had a great conversation about that. And at any given time, I try to, because I think that mental health is just as or more important than physical health, only because if you don't have the right mindset to do anything, it's not going to matter. And I think that I do applaud anybody or any organization that tries to get, because even as men, as Black men, we still feel like we're, like if you cry, you're sensitive or you're emotional. There's certain things like, or what's the new word that women use for a man that they feel is not manly enough, or
What is it? Yeah.
zesty.
Oh,
Like,
zesty. That's a new
yeah,
thing.
I
Oh,
learned
okay,
that
I've heard.
like if a woman thinks that a man is like sensitive, whatever, that, oh, he's acting too zesty for me, and I'm like, you're an idiot. And
Well, said I won't say that.
no. Some are. I'm not taking that away. I'm saying some. This is the reason why I bring this up, because
Right.
some people misconstrue certain
Mhm.
adjectives for something else, and I think it's
Yeah.
unfair. If, okay, let's say I'm having an emotional breakdown.
Mhm.
Now I'm feminine because I'm showing my feelings. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's not me being feminine, or that's not me being zesty. It's just me being, whether it's emotional or having a breakdown. And I think that's another reason why Black men specifically, we don't let or allow our feelings
Yes.
to come out, because we're scared to be mislabeled. And I hate to say this, we can take ribbings from other men, but when specifically, and I
Mhm.
might get rammed for this, specifically
Mhm.
with Black women saying things that's going to bring us down a peg when it's not what it is, then when
It
they want
hurts.
then when they want us to open up to them, we can't, because then we're scared that you're going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
label us these things
Yeah.
that's just unfair. That's the reason why I
Mhm.
bring it up, because I'm like, and I think that if we have the mental health um, fortitude
Mhm.
to not only accept when other people are going through whatever they're going through and contribute it to mental health, as opposed to anything that's demeaning or demasculating. I said demasculating,
Emasculating.
emasculating.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And I think that we as Black men, we're getting it together, but then we have women that are like pushing back against this because of whatever ignorance that is out there. So that's why I brought that up
No,
in
you're right.
you know.
You're right. You're right. And this goes back to the importance of making sure that you know your partner, and you
Yeah.
have somebody who is aligned with the way you think and the way you want to live. And if they're not, move on. Don't waste any time, because the right partner should want you to be yourself, should want you to feel comfortable about opening up, should want you to feel comfortable about expressing yourself, should want you to feel comfortable about, if you need to break down, bro. Last year I went through, I came from 2021 to last year, was like every year something was happening, right? Between me getting diagnosed with cancer, to having multiple heart attacks, to losing my mom last year, to now ending the year with another heart attack. Like, at any given point, I could have just broke. I could have just been like, you know what, screw this, I'm done. And there were moments where I did break, meaning I did have, that moment where, the tears just came, and I was emotional. I was overwhelmed with emotion. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you have a partner that is not going to allow you to express that,
Don't be.
she needs to go. He or she needs to go. You can't have somebody in your life who can't see that and allow you to be in that moment. And for me, I would say, when you talk about the mental health component, it's very, very important. Like, it's extremely important. I go so far as to say I'm in therapy. Like, I go to therapy. I have a therapist. Like, it's serious for me because I want to make sure that this work that I'm doing, first of all, this work I'm doing it. This is something I do full time. And this is something I eat, sleep, and dream. And so for me, I want to make sure that I have the strength to continue to do this. So I need to make sure that my mind is solid, so that I can show up for everybody else. First of all, so I can show up for myself, and then be able to show up for everybody else. So take that time to check in on yourself. Take that time to strengthen yourself. See a therapist. If you don't have the ability, if you can't afford a therapist, there are other ways. I mean, you have, some people go to church and talk to their pastor. Some people have friends who are just very good listeners that can help them listen to the things they're going through and take it one day at a time to sort it out. But seek help. Don't try to carry this all by yourself.
That's funny because I was just about to say that when it comes to therapy, and I know that people have different opinions about this, but I always tell people, well, I've told people in the past that sometimes talking to a friend is therapy. And but there are people that's like, if the person doesn't have a degree, I'm like, there's dumb therapists out there. There are horrible therapists out there. So it's like, you're telling me to spend money on something that, if I have a good friend who listens to me, who knows me well enough to know what to tell me in order to get me in a space that I need to be in, then that is therapy. And I think that people see therapy as only having to the traditional out, and I'm a fan of therapy, but I don't see a therapist.
Right.
Although I should with some of the things I do. Let me stop. But and like I said, but for me, I've always had a strong mind, and but that's the thing, because when I was a social worker, like, it was required because you're listening to other people. So you have to get a break from that, because if you don't get that break, then how can you help somebody else get their break? And I was working as a service coordinator for Salvation Army with the 911 situation. So I wasn't even trained, but my clients loved me because, for whatever reason, I knew what to say at the time that they needed to hear it. And I think then that's another reason why I say that to people that either won't approach therapy in that sense, or feel that they don't need it. Like, as long as you have somebody to speak to that can get you in a state of mind where you can function, I think that's just as important as going to pay somebody, to do it. And like I said, I know it's subjective, of course.
Yeah. But the key is emotional intelligence, right? And clearly you have emotional intelligence. You're an Aries, so I for people who are not into signs, I get it, but Aries, Pisces, we're empaths. We understand. We feel things, and we understand oftentimes how to communicate those feelings and how best to help others who are going through. Sometimes we're not great at helping ourselves, but we're really good at helping other people. We're like excellent at helping other people, but don't ask us to help ourselves, because we all messed up. So
we might destroy a few egos in the process, but that's not.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, no. But I definitely appreciate the time you've taken to talk to me, and I want to ask if there's anything else specifically with heart, body, and soul, or even with what you're doing, that you want to either discuss or let the people know, because just because like I said, I want people to get at least to get that much out of it, where there's got to be somebody that's going to watch this that's going to be like, you know what, I need that, or I have to, or that's going to be in Brooklyn, I live in Queens, I can make that. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, the most important thing I'll say is this: I really want people, everybody who's watching this, who's listening to this, to take time and check in on how you're doing. Take the time to go see a doctor. If you haven't seen a doctor in a year, 2 years, 3 years, prioritize your health, and please go check on yourself. It makes no sense that you say, oh, I'm overweight. I don't understand why I have all this weight on, and you talk about it and you bemoan it and you say, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and you do nothing, right? Because you don't get anywhere. You don't make any progress. You're not moving. So I would encourage you to take the time and put yourself first. It's not selfish to put yourself first. I understand there are mothers out there, there are fathers, there are people who have families who have, what they would say is bigger things to worry about. The biggest thing you need to worry about is you. Because if you don't put yourself first, how in God's name are you going to be there for the people that you love? How are you going to show up for them? If you're not okay, how can you help anybody else? So I really need for us to prioritize getting okay. Take it from me, from someone who has been through it, who's experienced multiple heart attacks, who's had cancer, who has been close to death's door. I've had my share of experiences to let you know. I'm not telling you something I haven't experienced. I'm not telling you something I haven't gone through. I've been depressed. I've had suicidal thoughts. I've experienced all those things, right? And I'm still here today. Not because I'm better than anyone, but because I chose to fight and I chose to show up for myself, right? If I don't show up for myself, I can't expect anybody else to show up for me. So I want to leave everyone with that. Please, I say this out of love because I believe that we all need to be here for each other and to support each other. The work we do with Heart, Body, and Soul is really focused on making sure men have that connection. They feel like they have someone, whether it's me or through our network, that they can connect with to get them the help. And I encourage people to call me, email me. I get it. My inbox may be overwhelmed at times, but I get back to everyone on my messages slowly but surely to make sure that people have the information they need. Because I want us to have access. I want us to have better access to care. I want us to have better access to resources, and I want us to really prioritize our health, mental and physical health, on a daily basis. That's it.
I do have a question that just came to mind. Why do you think that Black men are always the last when it comes to things of this nature?
I think it's what we have had to deal with over the years, right? So I want to say there's a part of it that there's a systemic racism part, right? Because we've been through so much where we've been experimented on, Black men and Black women, where we've been experimented on, we've been failed. The medical industry has failed us, right? When it comes to making sure that health is really a priority and we're not just experiments. So that's one part of it. The other aspect of it deals with now the sort of socioeconomics, right? We have to work. We have to work to provide for our families. We have to constantly keep on the move to make sure things are there, whether it's we have that house, we want to put things in place for our kids and so forth. So we're doing all these things. And we somewhere along the line, it was taught to us that you have to put family first and you come last. You will even hear mothers talk about this. Oh, I got to take care of everybody and I'm last. And so you see moms, all of a sudden, a woman who becomes a mom, maybe, not dressing as nice as she used to and just doing everything for the children or the child and not doing anything for themselves. And that, unfortunately, is something that has to end. It has to, because I will repeat this, and you hear it all the time when you fly, right? What do they tell you about that oxygen mask? You got to put it on yourself first before you put it on anybody else. Because by the time you get to somebody else, if you don't have that mask on, you blacked out and you're done. That's it. So prioritizing yourself is not a selfish thing to do. It is the most important thing to do to make sure you can show up for others. So I want us to stop thinking about it. Listen, it's going to take time. It's like really like deprogramming or reprogramming ourselves to prioritize ourselves, but we need to do it. And so what we're doing with Heart, Body, and Soul, especially when we partner with tons of other organizations, this is not something that's going to change overnight. We understand that we have been conditioned to think a certain way, conditioned to live a certain way, and we're going to have to spend years and years deprogramming, reprogramming, and getting to a place where we start to make health a priority. But it will happen. You know, I believe it will happen, and I'm here to continue to live in my purpose and make sure that I do my part to make it happen.
Well, I do appreciate your time, your words, your
Thank you,
efforts,
brother.
everything that you're doing. I- Something's wrong with me. I'm going to say, appreciate you having so many heart attacks so we can get to this point. No,
Listen, man, anything I could do to help everybody else, you know, that's what it's like.
I'm like, death has been that you're doing. Like, come on, man, come on.
Listen, I'm grateful that while death came, God came and said, "Nah, son, it ain't your time." I'm grateful. I'm grateful. You know, so I'm living that life with purpose, bro. That's it.
And I'm glad that you're able to smile about it as well, because I'm an idiot.
Nah, listen. If I don't smile, I'm gonna cry. If I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry. So you know, it's. I think it's easier to really look at things from the perspective of, I've got a lot to be thankful for. I'm here. I could have not been here, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. You'd have been like, "Yo, remember that dude, Chris?" Nah, you don't have to remember me because I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, but you can remember what I said so that you could go to the doctor. That you could do. You know, there you go.
Well, once again, Big said the industry cosign. My friends are better than yours. Thanking Christopher C. Williams. I'm just going to say his whole name just because I can.
There you go. There you go.
Heart, Body, and Soul, June 5th, 6th, and 7th, right?
No, June 6th, 7th, and 8th.
7th and 8th, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The website, imhbs.org.
.org.
Or any social. If they go to any social and put that in, it comes up as well, right?
I don't know if it comes up. So in the social, it's I am Heart, Body, Soul. So
Yeah.
all socials is I am Heart, Body, Soul. That's
Okay.
Facebook, that's Instagram, that's LinkedIn, that's YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. So
And I suggest I suggest going to the pages or even sign up, because there's like basically reminders, because I'm looking at it now, and
yeah.
I like the fact that did you know, that type of thing. So
Yeah,
it's
for
important,
sure, bro.
like I said, sometimes during the course of the day or just during the course of life, you don't think about anything except for what's in front of you. So that's in front of you, and it's like, hey, I haven't done this, or hey, drinking the water like this, that, and the other can definitely be helpful.
For
But
sure.
once again, I do appreciate, and like I said, I will be in Brooklyn, provided that there's nothing. Yeah, like I said, I'm around.
You're around. The Roots picnic is the week before. You know, unless you plan to go Governor's Ball, then you're gonna miss it. But who's going to Governor's Ball? I don't go to Governor's Ball.
No, I don't. I don't want anything to do with any politician. Now let me stop. my only fear is Brooklyn itself, because
Come on, man. Brooklyn is not. No, it's not. It's not. Listen. We're gentrified. No, I'm sorry.
Well, I get my hair braided in Brownsville, so
There you go.
That means I'm brave. No.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, man.
I can make it to Brownsville. I can make it to someplace that's a little bit closer to me.
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're safe in Brooklyn. You're Big Set. Come on, nobody's gonna mess with you.
Of course, yeah.
Definitely. You get love everywhere.
But thanks again for your time. Good luck with everything. Of course,
thank you, bro.
I'm gonna help out in whatever way I can.
Yes, and, thanks for having me.
For everybody, once again, my friends are better than yours, and if not, I want you to show me, because more than likely, if your friend is better than mine, they're probably my friend already. So
there you go.
Until next time, everyone, enjoy the rest of the day whenever you're watching this. And I hate when people say this when I look at videos. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video. People say you need to say that. I was like, no, I don't. If they're gonna subscribe if they like it. They're gonna like it. They like it. I don't have to. If I gotta keep telling them, because I'm like a rebel. You tell me to sign up, I'm gonna be like, nope. No.
I'm gonna say it for you. Subscribe to his channel and like this video and share it. Spread the word. Big Set is the man. Industry cosign. Been doing it for a while. That's my man.
I appreciate that. So everybody, enjoy the day. Until next time, peace.
Peace.